I hate how long it takes to design new things. Usually it takes 5 to 10 prototypes to make something decent. And I wish there was a modular system that would make all of this design process a bit faster. And well, if it doesn't exist, maybe I should try to design one. And that is the idea today. I want to design a modular system that will hopefully speed up my future creation process. When you think about modular systems, the first thing that comes to my mind is Legos. You can practically build anything with Legos. They have gears, they have motors, they have everything you need to build many mechanical designs. So can you actually design 3D printed parts that work like Legos? You probably can, but I think there are probably a couple of issues. Round shapes are not ideal for 3D printing and it would be pretty hard to achieve same quality as the Lego parts. Another issue that comes to my mind is that layer orientation is super important in 3D printing and some parts would be pretty tricky to print if you want to maintain the high strength of the part. There might be a better solution on designing similar system even with 3D printing. The Legos also seem to have many different shaped and sized motors. For 3D printing, the small N20 motors should offer similar functionality, and that is what I will be using. I'm hoping I could build a system where I could build a machine and slowly improve it, just like you see in many of these Lego videos. And I know it seems extremely hard to do, but I still want to give it a try. And naturally there are already many makers that have tried to make similar Lego systems before, and this Thangs might be the closest one that I have found. I like this idea of designing a 3D printable Lego system, but it seems quite complicated. I would prefer if it would be a bit more simple. This seems like a total hassle to assemble. Like it works, but is it perfect? I don't know. If I will try to do something better, there's no guarantee that I will succeed. And can I even do any better than this? Who knows? I plan on making 3 different machines, hopefully using this N20 motor. And if I want to do that, the first problem that I have to solve is how do I link 3D printed parts together in a fast and efficient manner. At this point I feel like I'm pretty experienced with 3D printing and I came up with a couple of ideas that I could test out on how to link 3D printed parts together. I could use stopper joints, H-link, buckle or clamp design, but which one is the best? Well, it's time to find out. I already have quite many boxes of these linking designs and I figured out maybe I could use them for this project. I have tried so many things in the past and maybe one of these solutions could work for this project as well. The H-link is one of my favorite designs on how to link 3D printed parts together. It's easy to print, it's quite durable. The downside is that it's pretty hard to remove from existing objects. And I used it on my last organizer design. Then you could also use these woodworking joints, but I don't think it's an ideal solution. Basically it's just relying on friction to keep it together. A better solution could be using bolts and nuts, which is a better solution on linking 3D printed parts together. And if you want a way to attach and remove the objects quickly, a buckle mechanism could be the perfect solution. I have even played around with this speed buckle mechanism, which seems to be a perfect solution for small containers that you want to close and open easily. This is probably one of my better designs, but somehow I have not used it that many times. Honestly, this buckle mechanism might be my favorite design. I even tried to make this sort of buckle cube, but I never ended up using this design. And lastly, I want to show you the clamp mechanism. I think it's super useful and fast. In this case I have used M3 bolts to make the mechanism a bit stronger, but I think this design could be designed as 3D printable object as well. The downside of the clamp might be that it might not be as durable when printed with PLA, but I'm guessing it will be strong enough. But it's something that I would have to keep in mind and test out. Honestly, I feel like there are so many solutions and directions that I could go with my design. I think I will start with this H-link design and try to come up with the design that would utilize this design. I also feel like this buckle design is so undervalued and underused. Maybe I could try to do something with this also. I don't know, let's just start working. I hopped onto Blender to start a new adventure. I have never tried to model gears and machines in Blender, so this might take a while. I did buy Precision Gears add-on to help me out, and it seems super useful for this. And just a couple hours later, the first machine seems to be in full production. This is my first design, and please don't judge me, I know it's garbage. Basically, I tried to use the H-link solution to make a modular system, and look how the parts are really strongly bonded together, but this design is just garbage. It was my first time on using the gear add-on on Blender. Sadly, my skills are not up to the task yet. Okay, let's not talk about this and move on to the next idea. For the next idea and machine, it was time to get a bit more serious. I finally want to use the motor and actually build a working machine. I ditched out the H-link idea. On hindsight, it was pretty bad idea from the start. Like, how would I build a modular system if I can't actually remove the parts? So, for the next design, I decided to use the buckle mechanism. It should be easy to attach the parts and remove them. And since I'm slowly starting to get a bit more familiar with the gear design, I decided to add this small 6V motor to the device and a small switch to control it, along with the battery case that holds 4 AAA batteries. The assembly of this machine was pretty straightforward. Each side has these 6 buckle link mechanisms that you just connect together. And that's how you assemble this elegant design. And while the design is extremely elegant, I'm not so sure about the functionality. One funny thing that I actually noticed is that this car actually needs a driver for it to drive forward, which is pretty weird, but at the same time it makes so much sense. Okay, there are still quite many issues with the model. I mean, it sort of works, but I was just expecting a little bit more out of this. I don't know. I think this simple model has its own charm. I wish it would work better, but this is the second prototype, so I can't be too disappointed. Even changing the wheels didn't seem to make any difference. I think I need to do some redesigning to make this work properly. Sometimes the ideas don't work out like you have imagined, and for me that happens most of the time. But I already have the next idea on my mind that should work out pretty well. The next idea was to use the latch mechanism to build a modular system. The mechanism itself is pretty simple, and it can be also called an over-center mechanism. I, however, lack the patience to properly research the design, so I tried to brute force the design to work just by printing multiple different variations and trying different tolerances. I printed all of these parts using PLA, which seemed to work fine for the start, but it remains to be seen if this mechanism gets loose over time. Even though the latch mechanism seemed to work fine, I still have no idea on how to actually implement this into the machine. Is this just another trash idea? And I still need to build the third machine. At this point I finally did the smart thing and took a break. And as usual I came up with a new idea, which sort of looks like a robot. But I'm sorry to disappoint you, this will just be another car. I first printed out some test pieces to see if this latch mechanism is viable. The test pieces seem to come out quite well. The latch mechanism is holding up nicely, although there is some slight bend to the PLA parts. After I was happy with the test pieces, I printed out the rest of the parts so I could build my third machine. So is this third machine perfect? I think it's my best design so far, but it still could be improved a bit further. It's fast to assemble and sort of modular since it's easy to change the parts, but it still doesn't feel completed. The original idea was to make a machine that you could use the same parts to build many different types of machines, but this design is just not quite there yet. This machine has very limited functionality since it can only drive forward. But I can already see some benefits that I have gained while designing these machines. I could use some parts from the second machine, and even this third machine could be developed further. Anyway, it's time to see this machine in action. It's super fast to assemble. It remains to be seen if these latches actually hold up in time. But how do I push this design further? I really like the design of the battery and motor. You could easily transfer it to another device by removing this latch and then you can remove rest of the parts easily. Wouldn't it be great to have designs that even other people can assemble easily? And this must be one of the easiest assemblies that I have ever seen. So leave a comment below if you think this should be developed further. It's not as compact as some designs, but if I wanted this to be smaller, I would have to use LiPo batteries or something like that. I don't know. I think this is a great success, but I still want to push this design a bit further.